Hello there guys, Francis Gray here, and today I want to share you all, this is my build up and model of Moebius Models, the Grim Reaper styrene kit. Basically, I can't speak highly enough of this kit. I absolutely love this kit. Obviously it's all styrene parts. This has been heavily customised. So here's a photo of how the model kit is supposed to look. Basically in that kit you get the Grim Reaper, you get the Sand Timer, you get the Sai, you get his rope belt, and then you get 2 gravestones, and then you get the base. Love the kit. The only thing about the kit that I didn't like was at the front of the model is this like weird like stone marker, like a gravestone marker. I don't know if the company were originally gonna incorporate like a sticker that said the Grim Reaper, or a vinyl, or another piece that went on top, and they just didn't get around to doing it, or they just abandoned the idea. I don't know, but it just seems weird that there's just this thing in front of them and you can't really do much with it. So yeah, but getting back to this build, basically I started off with cutting that off, and then I used that piece for to basically make an upstanding part to the tombstone here. So originally that is just supposed to go into the ground, but I didn't want it to be too lost in the snow, so I decided to use that rather than throw it away. So yeah, what's in the original kit on this? Well, obviously the Grim Reaper, all the parts. Now the only part that's different is this light up lantern. That's custom. That's basically originally from the Witch model that was originally made by Aurora back in the day. The version I've got is the reissue, later reissue from Polar Lights. Basically I just took the 2 parts of that lantern, incorporated a flicker bulb. I got that from one of those light up taper things that you can get them all year round, but they're mainly prominent at Halloween. Basically they just had like a flicker flame glow, and you don't have to worry about real candles burning your house down or whatever. So yeah, so basically just incorporated those parts together, and then put them inside the Reaper, and then it's connected via a battery at the bottom of the Reaper. So the Reaper's not glued, it can be lifted off, and then if you lift him upside down you have this little connection point. So I just basically put the battery in and then it lights up. So I'm quite happy with that. Originally the Sand Timer, it's supposed to go there, but once I saw that I had this, I thought that would be a lot better, so I put that there instead. And then I started feeling a bit bad that that the Reaper didn't have his timer, so I thought, how could I incorporate it? And originally this hand is supposed to be like 180 degrees the other way. It's supposed to be hanging limp, hanging down. So I thought, do I try and close his hands and then I have the the Sand Timer on a rope and he's holding it or something. But then I thought, well, why don't I just flip his hand round the other way, like he's holding it, like he's judging something, or he's, I don't know. Basically, coincidentally, that Sand Timer fits in that hand perfect. All I had to do was just add a little bit of styrene glue, and and it was solid as a rock. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. The actual timer itself, you get it, it's just clear plastic, but unfortunately they put these little connection seam dots in the middle of the glass, and you can't do anything with it. Most modelers try to incorporate a bit of sand or something, so you can't do that while these parts are there. So most modelers end up grinding them off and then try to salvage the Sand Timer in a different way. I also tried that, but there was just too many scratches. It just looked too damaged, and I wasn't a fan. So I was about to give up on it, but then I ended up one last resort was I ended up adding this like nail polish pearlescent effect on the inside. I give it 2 coats on both pieces, one sandwiched together, It looked really good. It looked really nice. It got rid of all the scratches, and it just kind of looked like a misty kind of swell inside, which kind of gives across there. It's not just like sand. It's like, I don't know, like a force or something, or like sands of time, ever blowing, flowing kind of a thing. So I liked it. So I decided to still use it. So yeah. So getting back to the actual parts that are original kit. This Tombstone, but I changed the front. Originally it said, "Here lies Frank. He waltzes. He loves to waltz. Now he waltzes with the ants." And then the other one was this one back here. It originally said something like, "He's Jeffrey, fell from a belfry." So a little comical, too comical for the seriousness of the kit. I always thought. Quite a lot of modelers changed that. Ironically, I rechanged them all, but I changed them all to Easter egg names. So this was, believe this was like Frank. He dances with the ants. My name's Frank, so R.I.P. Frank Gray, and then born, and then the year I'm born. So that's still the same name. And then this here, that was Jeff fell from a belfry. And I put R.I.P. Jeff Yeager, who was the original sculptor of this kit. So same again, Jeff for Jeff and Frank for Frank, so worked quite well. Yeah, and then this guy here, this was a separate Tombstone. I basically got that from a incense burner. A local charity shop were just going to throw it away. I asked if I could have it. Yeah, and it just basically features a skeleton crawling out. I'm going to use that skeleton for something else later on, but I just basically took an axe saw and I just sawed it straight down and then just cleaned it all up, added some Aves epoxy on the inside, and then basically just wrote the R.I.P. Bob Plant. By the way, Bob Plant was the art director for the kit. The tree is the same, what you get with a kit. Basically just added polyfiller on the top and then snow effect after it was painted. There's a couple of extra branches that are coming out of the ground. Those are separate. I basically got them from a Halloween tree that my local supermarket stocked one year. Basically they had loads of them. They looked terrible, but they were just basically like a little thin, flimsy tree, like a plant, I suppose, that had all these like little confetti bats on them and pumpkins and stuff like that. Looked very cheap, but at the time I believe they were wanting like £2 or £2.50 like each. But after a couple of days' time, I went back in and they were selling them off for like 20p each, which was ridiculous. So I bought the full lot. Took ages taking all these little bits of confetti off. Took ages to take all the branches off. Saved them in a tub, and yeah, and I've been using them for model dioramas ever since. I was worried about painting them because originally I was going to paint them a brown acrylic, but with them being like plastic and flimsy, like you can move them, I was worried that the acrylic would crack and chip off. So basically, while I was going around my local DIY store, I found these spray cans that have these like a liquid latex kind of paint, like a rubbery kind of paint. You're supposed to be able to repaint shoes, purses, belts, stuff like that. So it's made to be flexible. So yeah, I just coated them with that, and then I just dry brushed on a lighter shade with acrylic. But with it being dry brushed, you don't have to worry about that chipping. And yeah, and it worked fantastic. So I just incorporated a little bit of polyfiller to work as snow, and then just glued them in place. The last Tombstone, this was a kit bash. This angel releasing the dove, that is actually the figurehead on the front of the Black Pearl from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Basically, I found this destroyed remote control Black Pearl on a car boot sale. I think I got it for like £3. Really destroyed, really in parts. But there's quite a lot of parts on there that I can use for other stuff. So yeah, so that worked perfect for that. that was the lid to a fruit shoot, I believe. This part here was to like a vitamin C, vitamin D kind of packet, and this part here was electrical tape. I'll put all the parts together, added a few little nicks and knacks, worked fantastic as a fancy gravestone or tombstone. Yeah, and then just grey primed it all, left it to dry, give it some lighter shades of grey for highlights, and then once dry, went in with polyfiller, added it where all the snow would accumulate in real life, left it to dry, and then later on, once I incorporated all the parts, because the full base is polyfiller as well. Well, it's polyfiller and air dry model clay. Air dry model clay was put down first over some screws, and then once dry I went over it with a few coats of polyfiller, which worked fantastic. One of the later stages, just as I was going to wrap this up, covered it all with PVA glue where all the parts where snow would accumulate, and then I just added some fake snow scatter, left that to dry, and then I give it a quick blast of matte varnish to basically seal it on the top side as well. So if you touched it, it actually does feel like crunchy, crisp snow, so which is kind of weird actually, because it actually does feel real. So yeah, so I added that to all the tombstones, added it to the tree, added it to the base. I didn't add any to the Grim Reaper because I didn't want him to be affected by the weather. I wanted him to just basically be able to, like, you know, look like he just comes and goes. He's not affected by like real material. He's there, but he's not there at the same time. Wooden base. Basically, anybody who's been watching my videos will know that I'm going through a horror collection at the moment, and they've all got the same matching base. They've all got red felt underneath. They've all got similar name tags, and they've all got the same backing, all routed the same, all the same edge to them. The only thing that varies is the size of this back piece, because I've got different sized sections in my glass cabinet, so this is measured to fit perfect where I want them to go. Just painted black around the back, nothing interesting back there. And the only other piece to talk about is the back picture. Basically, I got that from a Google search image. I spent hours looking through search criteria on snow, gravestones, graveyards, tombstone, everything, churches, you name it, and nothing seemed to work. Everything was rather shot down looking up or up looking down. Nothing just seemed to flow naturally and be like low to the ground, but then a huge back neutral space, I suppose. And I finally found that, so I managed to find. I couldn't find out who the original photographer was, so I apologise that I can't give you credit for it. It was just basically a nameless picture that I found. So I saved it, sent it to my friend Derek. A huge thank you to him because he helped me out with this. He gave me a solid on this. Basically, he printed off 3 versions of that picture. One was just a normal on normal paper, but you could see where the printer had like different lines on it. Didn't look all that great. The other one was a cloth. Looked great, but he couldn't get it the right dimension for the cloth. So it basically left too much of a gap at the bottom. And then this one was on gloss photographic paper, and it worked fantastic. So all I had to do basically was just measure it, trim it, and then glue it on. I basically glued that on with a Pritt stick. Normally in the past when I've tried doing that, I've used PVA glue, but I found PVA glue to be a little bit too strong, and it seems to soak in through the back of the picture, and it just makes a huge mess. So basically just normal Pritt stick, put it on, and then stuck it on, weighed it down, left it a couple of hours, and it was good to go. So yeah, so I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. I think that's more or less it. The nameplate, that was originally just scanned the image in from the box art, made it into a PNG file, deleted all the background, so I just had the main key letters. And then I got in contact with a company that if you send them any image, they'll print it off onto a small thin piece of wood. Yeah, basically got it back, white primed it, added this like grey effect from dark to light. Basically that was just watercolour. Left it to dry, then I painted around the outsides with black acrylic. Left that to dry, and then I just give it a couple of coats of matte varnish. So yeah, so this is my build-up of the Grim Reaper from Moebius Models. So if you're interested in seeing more in-depth how I built this, I did go ahead and I filmed 4 parts to this because it took a long time to build. Each video is about 50 minutes long, so I'm not expecting you to sit down and watch all of them. But if you just want to flick through them, that's fine. Links to those are in the description bar below. So yes, if you have any comments, comment below. If you like this, smash that like button. Show me your support. Please help support the channel. Don't forget to share on Facebook and Twitter because it helps new people find this channel, which I'm always appreciative of. Thank you very much, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future monster builds, or well, just any builds really. I do all kinds of things. So yeah, so subscribe so you don't miss out on any of them. I also do statue reviews and modelling tip videos and basically all the cool stuff life has to bring. So yeah, so thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Click that like button and see you next time. Thank you very much. Goodbye.